We're talking today with Fred Singer, President and CEO of Singer Equipment Company in Elverson. Fred, thanks for taking time today.
No, it's my pleasure, thank you.
This is a family-owned business that's been around for how long?
We're in our 95th year of business. We were founded in 1918 by my grandfather.
And did you, when you were younger, did you always aspire to work in the family business, or how did that come about?
I did not always aspire to work in the family business. When I was little, after wanting to be a fireman, I also wanted to be an attorney and at one point a politician. And my father had always actually discouraged me from coming into the family business. He
Really?
said there were easier ways to make a living, and he said be a doctor, be a lawyer. But after college, I went to work for the Boston Consulting Group, which is a management consulting firm.
Mm-hmm.
And through that experience, gained a deep interest in business and in trying to run my own business, which started the conversations between me and my father.
Did you ever get to a point where you were kind of out on your own, doing your own thing before you came to the company, or did you just come right into the company?
No, right after college, I went to work for the Boston Consulting Group, which is a separate company, has nothing to do with our industry. It's a management consulting firm.
How long were you there?
I was there for 3 years.
And then after that, you came back here?
And after that, came back into the family business.
You have an interesting business. I was reading a little bit about it. A lot of it is tied with restaurants and hotels.
That's correct. Although in today's day and age, I should take a step back. Singer Equipment Company is a distributor of commercial food service equipment and supplies. And so most people, when they think about our business, think about restaurants, which is where the mind naturally takes us from our own personal experiences. But in today's day and age, everywhere and everyone is doing commercial food service. So that includes hotels. It also includes institutions such as schools and prisons, hospitals, and so forth. So a lot of commercial food service today is done beyond just the restaurants.
So my thought was, when I was reading about that you may have been exposed during the recession to the weakness in the restaurant business and the hotel business, but it sounds like maybe you were diversified enough that might not have been as painful as I might have thought.
That's probably correct. The restaurant business really took a sharp downturn during the recession. But there was some stimulus spending from the government that went through the Pennsylvania school system and some of the New Jersey school system that helped us. So yes, there were some diversified segments of our market which were not as hit, and healthcare was also one of them.
Sure. How are things now with restaurants and hotels?
Restaurants had a good year last year, and they started to come back from the recession. This year, the first quarter of the year has been a little soft for restaurants. There's a lot of discussion that the government's reinstitution of the full payroll tax has had an impact on the American consumer, especially in the family dining segment.
A little less disposable income for people to go out and eat.
A little less disposable income, and restaurants are one area that consumers have chosen to cut back on during tough times.
Now, you're in the distribution business, and I would think you're paying attention to gas prices.
Yes, gas is a big expense for us.
And what are you seeing now? There's been a little bit of an uptick lately, and now going back down a little bit.
Yeah, there's been a sharp uptick. We're keeping an eye on it, but unfortunately we're not a good predictor of gas prices.
Do you have much control? I mean, do you have contracts that fix a price, or how does that work?
We have contracts, but primarily we're really on the spot market. So when gas prices go up, it hits us.
What about energy costs? Big warehouse, got to heat it and cool it. What do you do to manage your energy costs?
Well, moving into this building was a big help. We've been in this building about 7 years, and this building is a full concrete building. So it actually will retain its temperature better than a standard steel structure building. It's a more heavily insulated shell. The main thing that we did, which had a big impact on our energy usage, was we changed the lights. So only after about 2 years of being here, we realized we could have a more efficient lighting system, and we put in high bay fluorescent light fixtures. And we put those fixtures on motion detectors. So at any given time, probably about half of our warehouse is dark until people are moving through that space. And that had a very big impact on our energy costs, cut it almost in half.
How long ago did you do that?
That was about 5 years ago.
Was that a new idea at the time, or?
It was a newer idea at the time, and the government was also running some programs to encourage businesses to invest in high efficiency fixtures, and we took advantage of one of those programs.
Very good. The superstores, that's a kind of a new segment within your business model, yes?
Actually, it's not that new. We've had our stores, we've always had what was typically called a showroom when we were in, when our headquarters was in Reading.
Right.
And when we moved our headquarters down to Elverson, we wanted to retain a store presence in the Reading market. And so we turned into a full store, a separate store operation. We've had that store for many years.
Okay. How's it doing? Was that to attract the retail customer, or was there some other purpose for that?
We do some business with retail customers, but primarily our business in our store is still our wholesale commercial customers. If you look at the restaurant market today, we typically, in times gone by, called on all of our customers through an outside sales force.
Okay.
But it became expensive to call on all but the largest customers through this type of sales force. And so what we did was we created stores where these customers could come to us and transact directly with us on a cash and carry basis.
Okay. And do you have design areas in there where people can kind of, like if you were to go to a home design store, where people could pick out things and you can work with a designer on the look and layout of a space?
Absolutely. We have some furniture there, and we can work on designing a full restaurant.
Anything else about the economy 2013 that you're keeping an eye on, that you're concerned about?
There's always things we're concerned about in the economy, especially with the issues our government has in terms of putting together a finished budget and maintaining the good credit of the United States. But in terms of the basic economic factors that we're seeing in our economy, we are seeing generally positive trends. When we see unemployment coming down, when we see home prices rising, that generally means the American consumer is feeling a little better and ready to spend, which helps our entire space.
Very good. Fred, thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you.